Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me again this morning. Welcome to the Value Creation School. Welcome to the Value Creation School. It's amazing to be with you. Let me know that you can hear me. Please go to the chat and say something. Tell me where you're joining from. I'd like to know who is here with me this morning. It's our Value Creation School. This is when we wake up early in the morning, early in the week, to decide and to frame our week and to give ourselves those inspirations relevant for us to conquer a new week. So, welcome. Let me know where you're joining me from this morning. And today we're going to be looking at something very critical, something very interesting as we go about solving problems. I say it that you don't create value if you're not solving problems. Value creation is simply about solving problems. It's about problem solving. So question becomes, what kind of problem are you solving indeed? What kind of problem are you solving? And that is what we're going to be looking at today. There are things called urgent problems. And I'm excited this morning to have that conversation with you about urgent problems. I want to, in my lifetime, solve problems. Simple and short. I want to, in my lifetime, create value, sustainable value. Simple and short. I want, in my lifetime, be a person that solutions can be traced to. I want, in my lifetime, build things that can outlast me. That is who I want to be. I want, in my lifetime, be the kind of person that can give hope to others, meaning I look at them, I identify the problems that they have, the most important problems that they have, and then I give them solutions to those problems. That is the kind of person I want to be. I want to be the kind of person that has solution mindset, meaning I want to be the kind of person that has value mindset, right? I want to be the person that is a net value creator, not a net value consumer. This you must focus on even as you set out for a new week. Very important. Thank you for joining me, Eric, Chidima, Chinaza. I appreciate you guys. All right, so let us delve into it. It's going to be a brief one this morning, but powerful subject to discuss. First is there is this inner framework for value creation, which I want to leave you with. That's what the introduction to this morning is going to be. There is an inner frame. There's a framework for value creation, which I think everyone needs to know. Yeah, I call it an inner framework. It is this. It is the solid basis for every value we create. It is the solid basis for every value we create. And once you get it right, what happens is that you can begin to build upon it. You can begin to build upon it. So, and that quickly, gentlemen and ladies, this morning can be looked at in three ways. So there are three very basic elements that make up the framework, the inner framework for value creation. Three very important elements. Three very important elements, and they can be expressed as questions as well. Now, the first one is what we call purpose. Purpose. What is the purpose for what you're doing? The purpose for your life. That is important. Every value that must be sustainable must start with the question purpose. That is the why. The why. Once the why is not known, once the purpose is not known, you know what? Then you don't have basically you don't have a reason, you don't have a solid conviction for what you're doing, and once that conviction is missing, then there is a problem. So it's important for us to understand this. You can so this is what gets you to lose steam, to lose momentum when you don't know the why, when you don't understand the reason, the purpose for your life. That is why you're going to start on a particular path. Then, once you are halfway through that path, you begin to see another thing you need to do. You are not able to sustain the steam, you're not able to sustain the momentum, right? So some of us that gather early in the morning to define our week, we do it because we understand the why. We understand the purpose. There is a purpose. For me, it's beyond coming on YouTube and talking to people. It's also the fact that very early in the week for me, I accomplish some of the most important things. One of the most important things I like to accomplish for the week. I set up my week doing this, right? That means for the every week, one of the first things I achieve is to give value to others, is to be a productive person. And once I have done that, because you guys must understand the principle of first fruits, the principle of first fruits. So once I start my week this way, the rest of my week would follow suit. I find out that I become a person for the entire week who gives value. So I tune up my system, I tune up my entire being towards what giving value consistently over the course of the week, because that is how my week has started. That's the point. So for us, it's understanding the purpose, understand the purpose. And this is very important. Once you understand the why, momentum can be sustained. Understand the reason behind the value you are creating. That makes a lot of difference in a world of today where there are distractions everywhere. There are distractions everywhere that are competing for the resources, for the limited resources that are available to you, as it were. Right. So if you don't um, have a concrete understanding of the purpose of the why am I creating this value? Why am I even on the scene? Even the Bible talks about many are the plans of a man, but the purpose of God prevails. So there is the purpose which God has instilled for your destiny. There's a purpose for which He created you, right? God is a value creator. So He brought you here to extend His value creation nature, right? So there is a purpose for which He brought you here. Your role then for your life now should be to understand the why for your life. Okay. Your role for your existence will be to understand the why. It's important that you understand the why. Why am I here? Why am I doing the things I'm doing? What, for goodness sake, why did I come? Why did I come? There must be a reason why you came. So the world has many problems. And once you understand the why behind your existence, what happens is that you are able to forge on that path. And there is a special grace that you then have that you came with in order to fulfill that purpose. If you understand the parable of the talents. So God has instilled in you a particular talent, a particular gifting, a particular grace, better than anyone else in that specific thing that He has called you to do. So the question is, have you identified the why for your being? Have you identified that? Because once you identify it, it comes with inside of itself, it comes with all the resources required for you to accomplish. That is what makes life easy. That's what I tell people. Look, every stage of my life, I identify, I come to meet up with the resources required for me for that stage. So I don't stress, I don't bother myself for the next stage. The next stage is coming with the resources required for me to accomplish them. Within that package would be the people I need to deal with, the resources I need with respect to finances and all of that, right? All of those, all of those, all of those, the capacity I need, all of those will come, the opportunities I need, all of those will come as I walk into that stage because I know I'm walking in tandem with the purpose, with the why for my being. And this is important. We get it. Purpose is critical. Purpose is critical. So you want to begin to ask yourself that question all the time. Why am I doing what I am doing? Okay. So question is most people I hear most people ask me is how do I really find out? How do I find out? But it's not complicated. It's not complicated. Once you're 15 years, you know, you basically should know some of the things that come easily with you, some of the things that you are inclined and drawn to, some of the things that disturb you. We can be looking at two things, sorry, the same thing, but we're seeing two different things. Why is that so? It's also because of how we have been framed. It's because of what is instilled in us. It's a couple of things, but those things point us in the direction of why we are here, of why we're here. There are things I'm drawn to. I can be engaged in an activity all day long without being bored, without being bored. I find myself speaking and addressing people and counseling people and coaching people and making people better and helping ideas rise. And I can do that all day long. Sometimes I don't even care whether I'm being paid for it or not. Now, that points me in the direction of what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. There are people that are more inclined to fixing things. They're handy. Anything that spoils, you find them, that's, crafty with respect to doing craft work. So they are that skilled with respect to doing craft work. So those people are now supposed to build on that, sharpen their skills in engineering and the like. So if they go into medicine, they should specialize in surgery. That is it. So they are blessed with being skillful and all that. So it's for you to find out what it is. There are people that are drawn to designs. They are drawn to designs. So that points you in the direction of what you're supposed to do. Maybe you should be a designer, you should be an architect, and all of that. So when you now function in that place, you have a special grace. Very important. All right. Beyond understanding the purpose, there is another aspect which is very important. It's called principles. Principles. So I'm talking about the inner framework for value creation, right? So you have understood the purpose, that is the why. But then there is also the how. There are principles that should govern any purpose, sorry, yeah, that should govern our value creation, that should guide our purpose. Every purpose should be guided and protected by principles. Very important. You see, when purpose is not guided by principles, the purpose gets corrupted. The purpose gets corrupted. That is why in our world today we have very corrupted purposes, right? We have people who are professionals but who lack the right values, the right principles to drive what they do. And it's something that is also sad, is something that is also sad. We have skewed principles. So I want to advise every person listening to me. It's important that you define what principles govern your life. What principles govern your life? What principles govern your life? Minimum of 3 principles. You can have 5 principles. 5 is wonderful. but you can increase it. But I advise that you have about 5 principles that govern your life. These are things that shape the works of my hands. These are things that shape the execution of my purpose. It can be as simple as integrity. I am a person of integrity. My words can you can bank on my words. You can trust me. Okay. So you identify what those are. Consistency may be it. Consistency. Consistency. Right? May just be one of your principles. Now, once you are ingrained with the principles, with those habits, with those attitudes that guide and define your personality, that define the works of your hands, you're you basically are distinguished from the folk. You're basically distinguished because now people can almost predict the outcome of your life, the outcome of the things that you do. People, you can basically even predict the outcome of the value that you create, that is not going to be corrupted. And it's important for all of us. It guides us. It guides us. Understand what those things are and begin to study those principles. What does it mean to be a person of integrity? What does it mean to be a consistent person? Can I read books and learn? Can I immerse myself in the spirit that govern those principles? It's important. You begin to mold yourself to become an excellent person. You begin to mold yourself to become a ready man for the assignment you were given. Very important. So that's why we see a lot of leaders who are empty. We see a lot of leaders whose lives we cannot emulate, that they're not, they cannot be role models, really. So we see society that is falling apart. We see families that are falling apart. It's simply because men are devoid of principles. Men are devoid of principles. And it's a sad reality. So you're going to have those defining principles for your life. These are a set of principles that guide me. They are my compass. They are my compass, and they become your brand, as a matter of fact. So it's important for us to have these principles. So they give protection to the purpose that you have found out, right? That you have discovered. Okay. So beyond principles, the third aspect element that make up this framework is what we call productivity. Productivity. I like to say that the inspiration without execution, inspiration without implementation, inspiration without dreams, without execution would not amount to anything. Is equal to nothing. Work done equal to nothing. So it's important for us to have the ability to implement the purpose. And so while why we can say that purpose is the why, and we can say that principles is the how, then the execution, the implementation, the productivity aspect is then the proof, all right? So it's good that you be the kind of person that will build a system. Pay attention to this. Build a system to implement. Build a system to execute whatever purpose that you have identified. Right. So I want to build a solution to solve a problem. I have found a problem that is worth solving. Now that is a problem I want to dedicate myself to solving. Now, where do you start from? You want to pass it through this framework for value creation. The first thing is, why am I even doing this? You need to understand the purpose behind it. You need to identify the purpose behind it. The second thing is, you pass it through your principles. Are these things in line with my principles? Is this thing I want to do in line with my principles? Are they consistent with my principles? And can I execute these things consistently in consonance with my what principles? Very important. Very important. You need to pass it through the lenses of your principles. Then the next thing would be, how can I execute actually? Can I then be able to implement? Can I go about executing it? You don't just jump into executing. That's the point I'm trying to make here. In value creation, you don't just jump straight on to start executing and building that product because you have seen a solution, you have seen a problem, then boom, you get into it. No, first of all, pass it through the framework, which is what is the purpose, which is what are the principles, what are my principles? Are they in tandem with this problem I want to solve and how I'm going to solve it? Then you talk about how do I then go about solving it, the implementation, the proof. What is the proof? What is the outcome that is going to emerge out of this? Do I have the system to do it? Do I have the ability to do it? Okay, so that is the entire framework that you need. Okay, yeah. So the morale, the lesson here is you need to understand the why. Is very important. You need to understand the principles. Is very important. Understand your principles, frame your principles. As a value creator, it makes you um distinguished. It makes you distinguished as a value creator. It makes you a special person. It makes you a solid value creator. It makes you be there. It makes you be there. It gives you that foundation required as a value creator. Because really, we are not creating, we're not raising persons who are just going to be, you know, empty individuals. We are raising solid leaders. We are raising solid leaders. We are raising solid leaders. So it's important we know this. Okay, so down to what we are supposed to be discussing this morning. The essential thing we're supposed to discuss this morning is, now that you have identified the problem to solve, you ask the question, is this problem urgent? Is this problem urgent? Never you find yourself solving a problem that is not urgent. Never you find yourself solving a problem that is not urgent. So I'm here to discuss with you on how to identify urgent problems. As an entrepreneur, as an entrepreneur, as a civil servant, as an entrepreneur, as a scholar, as someone who is a value creator, we are drawn to problems. We want to solve problems. We're able to identify problems, gaps in a system to solve. Okay. But there are many of them. There are many problems out there. The problems out there are numerous. So question becomes, which of them do you solve? Are you even called to solve all problems? Are you called to solve all problems? That's not true. That's not true. There are problems that connect to your purpose. That's why we had to give you that framework. There are problems that connect to your purpose. So you should then be able to identify those problems and solve only those problems. You can never solve everything. You can never solve every problem. Life is too short to want to solve every problem. So you want to focus on the problems that are urgent. The problems that are urgent. I want to give you this morning what I mean by urgent problems. Actually, urgent, as I'm talking about it here, is an acronym. UR-GENT is an acronym. UR-GENT. UR-GENT. So there are those 6 attributes of a good problem, of a problem worth solving, of an urgent problem. All right, are we ready? So what you are supposed to do is to pass any problem through the lenses, or you have two problems to solve. You ask yourself, which of these problems is urgent? Which of these problems is urgent? So that's what we want to discuss this morning. Are we ready for it? Yes. Once I'm done, we're good. So you go through the week asking yourself, what problem am I solving this week? What problem, what value am I creating this week? Okay. Are those problems, urgent? Are those problems urgent? Very important. Very important. You know, as the week is starting, I believe we all have set goals for the week. It's good. In fact, I preach that you should set your goals the previous night. So you should, everybody that is a student of the Value Creation School should set their goals on Sunday night. You should set your goals on Sunday night. You look at those goals. You internalize those goals before you go to bed. Make sure you internalize those goals and read them out to yourself, and you know, psych yourself to be ahead of those goals. Basically, of course, this is done with the mouth, right? Then you sleep, you go to bed. Then you wake up, you join the Value Creation School. You get insights on how to solve those problems, on how to overcome those goals, because there must be something we are going to say in this school that is in this school. This is a school. So I hope you have your notes, you take notes and all that. Very important. There is something we're going to say in this school, in this section, that would help you to be ahead of others towards solving those problems. So there is the danger of not already having those problems in your mind before coming to the school. Because as we dish out these principles, it's important that you reflect on, okay, these are my goals for this week, and how do I solve it? Life is lived based on goals. Please make no mistakes about it. Life is lived based on goals. But I tell people, it's not just about goals. It's not just about goals. There is, before you get to the goals, you should have discovered the purpose, right? You discover the purpose, then you set a vision for your life. Once you've set a vision for your life, another thing you then have to do is to begin to talk about what must I, what vehicle, and that's where the mission comes in. What vehicle will I use to achieve the vision I've set for myself? That becomes what, okay, am I going to become a medical doctor and go through healthcare to achieve that vision? Right. So you understand vision is for you to set for yourself. The best purpose is for you to discover. Okay, good. Once you have done that, then you begin to ask yourself, what should I become in the next 10 years or in the next 5 years? People like us dream 10 years, but nothing stops you from dreaming 5 years, but not less than 5 years. Who do I need to become in the next 5 years in order to achieve my vision? It's important. It's about becoming. Please make no mistakes about it. Don't set goals on having, set goals on becoming. Set goals on becoming. So when you say, who do I need to become in the next 5 years in order to achieve my vision? That becomes powerful. That becomes your 5 year goals. That becomes your 5 year goals. So, okay, so you then ask yourself, okay, these are 10 things I need to achieve, I need to become in the next 5 years. Remember, become goals, become goals, become goals. So, because it is who you become that can actually what achieve. You cannot achieve without becoming. So most times we fall into the trap of setting the goals of what we will acquire, of what we will acquire, of what we will achieve without first of all setting the goals of who we will become. It's in the becoming that you can achieve. Okay, good. So you set the 5-year goals. Then you now walk back and say, for me to become this person in the next 5 years, who do I need to become today? What should I be doing today in order for me to what be there in the next 5 years? Sorry, what will I be doing the first year? Okay, in the next 1 year, in the next 1 year. So that's how you set your 1 year goal. You don't set your 1 year goal out of the blues in a vacuum. No, it means you don't have a sense of direction. You're not going to die in the next 1 year, in the next 12 months. You're not going to die in the next 12 months. So you're going to have to set a longer term goal and then take steps backwards. That is how to live a fulfilling life. Your life will then have a direction. All right. So when you have set your 1 year goal, you can walk down and set your 1 month goal, and then like that. Okay. So that's the way. So it gives you fulfillment. I know. Look, if I'm what I'm doing today is not by accident. It's a function of the picture I see of myself in the next 10 years. It's a function of the purpose I've discovered. Please, this is important. You follow this process. That said, I want to then talk to you about the problems you should be solving through your goals, through your daily goals. Now that you have set the monthly goal and set the weekly goal, right? Like of course, I believe that you all listening to me in this school, you have set the goal you want to achieve for the week. Please, you set a weekly goal. You set a weekly goal. Okay, so you should have set that goal yesterday. Then from that goal, you now say, okay, what will I achieve today? What will I achieve today? Some people just set out and go on with their life without setting goals. Um, you're like someone who wants to cut a tree and is using a blunt knife. You're using a blunt knife. Actually, the thing is, you're supposed to spend an enormous part of your time sharpening the knife. Yeah, sharpening the knife. Okay, good. So, um, what are these urgent problems? What do I mean by urgent problems? Number one is you. The you is that the problem has to be unique. You want to solve a problem that is unique. Okay, you want to solve a problem that is unique. It's important for you to identify the uniqueness of the problem that you want to solve. I don't want to just go ahead to reinvent the wheel or to do what others have done. As a value creator, you are celebrated more for the new things you bring on board, all right, than for old things you replicate. For the new things you bring on board than for the old things you. That's why people are called founders. You're a founder. What does that mean? Because you bettered that into life. You're the one that bettered. You gave it a meaning. You gave it you gave it a life. You gave something a life. That is what we say. You found you solved something that is unique, right, to a particular set of people. Something may actually um be existing or old in a particular market for a particular people. But once you take it from that particular people and target market and you bring it to a new target market and particular people, it becomes a new unique thing. So it's important for us to solve unique problems. Unique problems. That is the first thing. That's how we know that something is urgent. That's the first thing we use to know that something is urgent. Okay, meaning that it is unique, meaning that people have not um, really discovered, people do not have a solution to it. And we say, oh, this is a unique problem. This is an urgent problem because it is new. People are looking for answers to it. People are looking for answers to it. So don't be a person that reinvent the wheels. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Don't be a person that is drawn to things that are already quite shallow. We're going to come to that. But be drawn to unique problems. Be drawn to unique problems. The next one is R. What does R mean? R here is relevant. You want to solve relevant problems. So one thing about relevant problems is here you're thinking about a group of people. You're thinking about a target audience. So what may be relevant to me may not be relevant to the other person. What may be relevant to me may not be relevant to the other person. So when we talk about relevance, it's with respect to a certain people. It's with respect to a certain people. This is relevant. This is relevant. Meaning this is going to be addressing squarely the problems that a certain people have today. It is relevant, right? It's relevant. We say, okay, fine. It's a problem that is affecting certain people for which we need to what? Solve it. Very important. Very important. So I want you to cast your mind on the problem you're currently solving. Is it unique? Is it relevant? Think about it and respond in the chat. Have you tried to solve a problem that was not unique? Have you tried to solve a problem that was not relevant, really? Do you ever consider these things when you choose the problems you want to solve? What is the experience? What's the experience? The more problems you solve that are unique and the more problems you solve that are relevant, the more value you create, the more the value of your solution. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is the G. G there is what we call generative problems. Generative problems. Generative problems. So generative problems are problems that can evolve into other things. It's important that you always try to solve problems that are generative, meaning this problem, as I'm solving it, it can evolve. It has different dimensions. It can evolve into different other things. It's important that you focus on such problems. If we were to choose between two problems, which one to solve, one of the things I would do is to ask, can this problem that I'm trying to solve now evolve and lead to other problems, different other dimensions that can be interesting to solve? Okay, so I would be drawn to solving such problems than just a one-off problem that cannot really evolve, that cannot grow. That is what I would do. That is what I would do. Because you get more reward solving such problems. So we say those problems are growing problems. All right. Those problems are growing problems. We say those problems are recurrent problems because you don't kind of even finish them, they keep recurring. So there are problems that are generative. um as you're solving it, it's evolving, it's evolving, it's evolving. It's just like you're trying to solve a problem in the let's say the energy sector, right? So sustainable energy, you're looking at solutions that would enhance access to sustainable energy, right? So you know that it's is a whole lot, is a whole lot, because we are still at the beginning phase of that whole industry, so to speak. So you're going to begin to ask yourself, okay, what problem am I solving now? When you talk about solving the storage problem, that's a whole lot in itself. So as you solve it, you see other problems that need to be solved. As you solve it, you see other problems that need to be solved. right? So that's what happens with that. That's what happens with that. It's important for us to be drawn more to such problems. But then on the flip side, if you come up with a solution, if you're going to solve a problem, let's say um, you want to solve the problem of curing. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Curing, um, let's say a HIV, right? You want to cure HIV, create a drug to cure HIV. So when when you when you treat HIV and the person is gone with no HIV again, what has happened is that there is no um, evolution to it. It's done, is done, right? There is no other phase. The person goes and is gone. It's just like someone you're removing that has appendicitis, and you want to remove the appendix, inflamed appendix. So once you've removed it and share the person and the person goes, the person has gone. Unless there is a complication, which usually is not the case if it's done by an expert. So once that is done, the person is okay. That problem is, we cannot say that that problem is generative. You begin to understand what I'm saying, right? We cannot say it's generative. So people are more drawn, people make more money. That's why the pharmaceutical companies would not give you a drug to treat completely hypertension. They would rather give you drugs to bring down the blood pressure. Because once they give you the drug and then you will never have hypertension again, or they give you the drug and diabetes is taken care of completely, the problem with that is that they have lost you in the marketplace. So it's easier to and more profitable to maintain you. Yeah. Knowing that, oh, tomorrow we can then bring out a new different variation of that same drug you're taking. And we think about a different, so you um forever continuously be our be in our experiment lab. You forever be in our market. You forever be a profit channel for us. So it's important for us to understand, what it means to solve generative problems. Yeah, we say recurrent problems, say growing problems. It's good for us to understand such kinds of problems to solve as value creators. They are more difficult to solve. They keep us on our toes all the time. They get us to also evolve because they would need for you to have up-to-date skills as those problems evolve, right? That's very important for us to understand. Yes. So the next one, as I begin to conclude, is E. 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 So when we say we mean enduring problems, right? So it's similar to genetic problems, but enduring problems, as I try to explain with genetic problems, are problems that last. They are recurrent problems. You don't, they are just there, right? I gave an example already with the first company. So those problems are perennial problems. They are enduring. Okay, so when you see a people that have enduring problems, we say this problem is urgent because the problem is always there. The problem is always there. It's enduring. So we say it is what an urgent problem to solve. It's an urgent problem to solve. It's a very important characteristic of urgent problems to solve. Enduring problems. So I rather solve a problem of diabetes, right? Because as I see today, it's an enduring problem. So I rather solve that problem of diabetes than solving a problem of let's say um, respiratory tract infection, because as respiratory tract infection is just an infection which if you give it an antibiotics, it will go. So enduring problems are critical problems, are urgent problems that we need to face, we need to solve. We need to solve. So cast your mind on some of the richest people in the world today. What problems are they solving? I bet you that the problems they're solving are enduring problems. Yes, I bet you. Think about it. The problems they're solving are the problems that people would always come back for. People will always come back for. Those are enduring problems. Those are enduring problems. Okay. All right. So quickly, the N there in urgent problems, N is non-trivial, non-trivial, non-trivial. Solve problems that are challenging. Never you find yourself solving simple problems. You get more reward solving non-trivial problems than you get solving trivial problems. It's important that you solve non-trivial problems, difficult problems. The more difficult the problems we solve, the better we become, the richer we become. If I had the opportunity to solve two problems and one is not going to bring out so much out of me, then it's not difficult, so difficult to solve. And the other one is quite difficult to solve, but I think I have the competency to start solving it. I'll go for that one, that I have the competency to start solving. Don't solve trivial problems, solve non-trivial problems. It is important for you to solve non-trivial problems. And I want to give you a secret. If you're maybe in Africa, you're a young person, you're thinking about your life, you're thinking of how do you emerge and become very successful in life. This is the secret. Identify urgent problems to solve. Identify non-trivial problems to solve. That is a leveler. When you are able to solve a non-trivial problem, that is a leveler in life. So it doesn't matter if the person is an American citizen and you're a citizen of Zambia, you're a citizen of Nigeria. No. What matters, once you all come on the same global scene, what happens is that you are given more respect. Yes, you're giving, yeah, believe me, you're giving more respect, more reverence because you're not introduced as a Nigerian, you're introduced as the inventor of so and so. That comes first. You introduce this is meet the inventor of this. They will not say it's after they have introduced it as the inventor of this, they now begin to ask and pay attention to where you are from. That is a leveler. That is a leveler. That is a leveler. And that's why we do the YIL fellowship, to give young people the opportunity to start solving problems before they emerge to the world. Before they emerge to the world, because then they have solutions as a badge before facing the world. They have so that's why we expect that they even begin to take some of those opportunities to solve problems important. They take it very seriously because you're given an opportunity to emerge as a person of value to the world. Don't take these things for granted. Now, lastly, is timely problems. Solve timely problems. Problems that are timely. There are problems that are relevant today. They are timely. If we don't solve it today, the people would die. If we don't solve it today, we lose a huge opportunity. If we don't solve it today, something would happen. It comes with consequences if delayed. These are timely problems. These are timely problems. I want us to pay attention to timely problems. Timely problems. So, there are people, there are 4 categories of people. There are the people that do important things when they are urgent. There are people that do important things when they are not urgent. There are people that do non-important things when they are urgent. And there are people that do non-important things that are not urgent. Yeah. So those are 4 different kinds of tasks. Yeah. So whenever you leave your important things to become urgent, you want to focus and do those things. And this is just by the way, is because I'm talking about timely problems here. So timely problems, you should focus on timely problems. That is problems that are important. But now they have become urgent. They have become very timely, given where we are today, given where the target population is today. It is coming with an inherent cost that we need to solve it. There is the cost that this problem has today. It is such that without us solving this problem, the consequences of not solving this problem are wild consequences if we don't solve this problem today. So if it's that case, then we need to focus on such problems. We need to focus on such problems. And the good thing about it is you're listening to me now. There is a project you're interested in. There's a project you want to start working on, or you're already working on a project. Past those problems you're trying to solve through these lenses. What happens is you're going to start getting insight into how to even adjust your solution to suit what I've just said, or adjust the dimensions of the problem to fit into what we have discussed today. Very important that you get this concept. And if anybody would drop a problem they're solving, I can quickly help them in the next 2 minutes that we'll have to look at it from the different perspectives of urgent problems we've discussed. I'm going to tell you whether it's an urgent problem and how you can make that problem to become an urgent one. So that is the good thing. The problems you're solving, you can actually make them urgent and get more benefits solving them. Yes. The problems you're solving, you can translate them to become urgent problems and get more benefits solving them. We are raising value creators, people that will go out there to create immense value in their world, and they'll be celebrated and rewarded for the value that they create. We're raising giants out of Africans. We're raising giants out of the villages of Africa and developing countries. There is hope for you. There is hope for you. As you set out this week, you are supposed to go out there and crush. Let nothing hold you back. Go ahead and crush those goals. You have what it takes to crush them. Have your eyes on the right things. Don't talk down on yourself. There is a force within you. There is a grace within you that would enable you to solve any problem that you set your eyes on to solve. All you need is what? Focused attention on it. When you focus your attention on it, the universe will begin to bring in and channel, the necessary forces, resources for you to be able to solve them. Don't be distracted. Focus. Focus on those problems you want to solve, on that value you want to create this week. There is this fulfillment that comes that you started this week looking at the problems you want to solve, and you're ending the week actually solving them. Don't let this week be another week that will just pass. Make sure you hit those goals. Make sure you hit those goals. Nothing should hold you back. Nothing should hold you back. And I want to ask you guys to, as you do whatever thing you're doing, do it with the right principles. Do it with the right principles. Yes. Do it with the right principles. Inside of you is the grace to accomplish anything you set your eyes on to accomplish this week. There's an immense force within you to accomplish anything you set out to accomplish. So go ahead. Nothing should hold you back. Nothing should hold you back. Nothing should hold you back. This is a cup I'm holding. This is a cup I'm holding. This cup, how heavy do you think this cup is? This jar, how heavy do you think it is? It's not heavy at all. I can hold it like this. It's not heavy. It's not even filled with water at all. I can hold it like this for minutes. Hold it like this for the next 10 minutes, right? I can hold it like this for the next 10 minutes. But though it is not heavy, I cannot hold it like this for the next 1 hour. I cannot hold it for the next 1 hour. Neither can I hold it for the next 2 hours. It's not possible. Though it's what of lightweight, I cannot hold it for 2 hours. That is the way life is when we interact with problems and we interact with worries. As you set out this week and as you go ahead to crush your goals, there are things that are going to come as distractions and they're going to come as worries, as setbacks, to distract you. There are those things that will come as emotional drawbacks. When you look at those emotional drawbacks and setbacks and worries, and you just handle them and pay attention to them for 1 hour, that will be fine. But when you dwell on those for longer than 1 hour, for up to 1 day, for up to 2 days, they become heavy. Don't let your worries stay consistent. Don't let them stay persistent. Don't dwell on your worries. Don't dwell on your negativities, right? As you go ahead to crush your day to day, these are some of the light weights that we carry that draw us back. So I want you to free your mind of some of those worries, of some of those distractions. If you hold on to them longer than necessary, they become very weighty and they draw you back in achieving your set goals. I want to leave you with the blessing of a beautiful new week. Go ahead and crush your week. And I see you again on Monday, 5 a.m. West African time next week. Until then, keep living a value-driven life. Thank you for joining me today. Go ahead and invite your friends to join us, to come and watch this video, and then to join us next week. Let's have more people engaging on Monday mornings. Thank you. Have a beautiful week.